I finally finished it. Rage stress knitting. It was a bit of a trust the process. What it looks like on her head. I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out. A complete disaster. Hi folks, if you're new here, I'm Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby as well as the other things in life that get tangled on up in it. It's the end of February. Actually, I think it's the beginning of March as when you're actually seeing it and when I'm posting this. So it's time for a monthly wrap up, and let's talk through the things that I have been knitting on in February. So first of all, let's talk about what I'm wearing. This is my Book Club cardigan. So this is the Book Club Cardigan pattern by Sari Nordland. I finally finished it. I started this project in September. I started it at the end of September. And at the end of October, I realized I had accidentally highlighted all the instructions for size 5, but I wanted size 4. So I frogged it and I started over and it's finally finished. I finished this actually at the very end of January. Technically, this is a finished object for January. I didn't sew on the buttons for 2 weeks. So we'll call this a finished object for February. It's the first time you're seeing it as a finished object. But yes, I knit this up in Knit Picks Simply Wool worsted, and this is in the color, oh no, what color is this? Winkle, I want to say. It is a beige. It is a gray beige, very neutral color. I like the color. I was having a few doubts about it, kind of towards the end of knitting it. I think it was mainly because I had seen, I think it's Marlene Knits. I'll put her username. She had done this brick red, or kind of orangey reddy brick colored Book Club cardigan that I was just oh, that's so pretty. So I think I was just having some doubts about this, but I do really like this now that I've gotten to wear it a couple of times and kind of see how it fits into my wardrobe. I think it goes really well. It pairs really well with reds and burgundies. I've got I buttoned it up, but I do have a shirt, light green shirt on underneath. There are some colors that it doesn't really go well with. So it's not quite the true neutral that I think I kind of set out to do. No, don't knock over my water. All that said, I am very happy about it. Couple of things to note. I did not do the pockets on this. I just knit it straight, followed the pattern, and just omitted the pockets. I like the pockets on other people. I did not think where the pockets were going to hit would be flattering on me, and I'm very glad I made that decision. It was an easy thing to just not do the pockets, just keep knitting the body of the sweater until I got to the ribbing. And then I did also do I picked up 12 stitches for the double knit button band instead of, I think it's 16. I originally picked up 16 and I got 3 or 4 inches of the double knit button band done, and was looking at it with the buttons I had and kind of felt like it was maybe a little too wide. So I redid it, and I'm very glad I did. I think it's a perfect size button band for me for this sweater. The buttons, I'll make sure to put some insert shots and everything. The buttons are from Hull and Hoof. They are a ceramic button, and they've got just this white with a little bit of kind of a flower detail on it. It keeps it neutral, but it adds this nice little pop of something interesting without really pulling too much attention away from the cables. I'm really happy with how the cables turned out on this. It was a pretty easy cable pattern to follow once I kind of got into the rhythm of it. And yeah, I will say, like many other people, this pattern eats yarn. I got 6 balls of Simply Wool worsted, which I was like, okay, I may, looking at it, I think I was like, I probably only need like 5.5. I probably used about 5 3/4 of the skeins, and I didn't do the pockets, so I would have probably run out of yarn had I knit the pockets. So that's just something to keep in mind if you do make a book club cardigan. I've heard from so many different people who have needed to like go out and order an extra skein of yarn. It just, for whatever reason, the yardage, the grams is off on that pattern. I kind of wish that's something that maybe Sorry Nordland would go back and like adjust, having seen how many people have an issue with the yardage. But just something to keep in mind. And I think especially like if you're using a yarn that you might find difficult to find that exact dye lot, or it's like a hand dyed yarn that you might not be able to find later on, get an extra skein at least, just for your own sanity. And then if you do end up having extra, I don't know, maybe you can return that extra skein or use it for something else. Yeah. As far as the yarn goes, this was my first time working with Simply Wool. It is a undyed yarn. It is Simply Wool. It actually, like, when I first got it, it did have a, like, wool sheepy smell to it. Not super strong, but, like, it was definitely there. And when I was blocking it, it smelled like a wet sheep. Now, like, if I put my nose on the sweater like I just did, I can smell, like, a faint whiff of sheep. It's not unpleasant sheep. It's not, like, gross, dirty sheep. It's just like, this smells like it's actually wool, and not, devoid of any scent or anything. It also was so lovely knitting up, because I think it might still have a little bit of that, like, lanolin in it. So it just made my hands feel really nice as I was knitting it. It's been really comfortable to wear. I've been wearing it on and off for a couple of weeks now, and there is a little bit of pilling. There's like a little bit of pilling here. Yeah, I just pulled off. Farewell. There's a little bit of pilling, but that's also like on a very textured area and where like things rub a lot. But I don't feel like it really shows all of that much. So yes, I will see how it continues to wear and update you if it's like a complete disaster. But I think it's going to wear pretty well. So most months I usually only have like one finished object. I do think I'm not super fast of a knitter. I find a lot of little moments to make progress on my knits, and especially like the last couple of months, knitting has been my mental health breaks, and I've needed a lot of them. But I do have 3 more finished objects, and that's because they're hats. All right, if you did not see it, I did a whole video about the Melt the Ice hat and some of the history of it, but I did knit one. This is the Melt the Ice hat by Paul S. Neary. This is the knit version. She also has a crochet version. And I knit this up just in a couple of days. This is knit up in Kelborn Woolen Scout. It was my first time using Scout, and I really like this. I definitely want to make a garment out of this at some point because it's soft. It's got like a nice stitch definition. Let's show you that stitch definition. And it has like a really nice bloom after I blocked it. As far as the pattern goes, I did alter it because I did the decreases I put a row of just stitch of knitting in between the decrease rows. So this part of the hat was a little bit larger. It felt like it just decreased a little bit too quickly for my preference, and this is also for my husband, and I thought it also was maybe not going to be big enough for to really comfortably fit his head. Yeah, knit up pretty quickly, especially I did the crown part, I think about 3 times. The first one, I tried doing a modification I'd seen somebody did where instead of doing the decrease, knit a couple stitches and then do another decrease, like a left leaning decrease and then a right leaning decrease or vice versa. What they did was they did a slip 1, knit 2 together. So the decreases happened. Farewell, light! Oh, that's better. So as I was saying, that would make it that the decreases all happen like kind of over the same essentially stitch. They happen much more closer. And initially I like that, but actually having done it and seeing it in person, I didn't like it as much. Maybe I would have liked it if I had done the like decrease on one row, knit a row, decrease on the next row. And then I tried doing what was in the pattern and felt like that didn't give enough height to the crown. And then I did the modification. So yes, my husband has actually been wearing this quite a lot. There is some sawdust on it because he was cutting and sanding some stuff, but he usually wears it folded up and over. And then I did the braid as was indicated in the pattern. So yes, pretty good pattern. This used less than a skein of the Kelborn Woolen Scout. So, nice to be able to do a whole hat with 1 skein of yarn for sure. And also felt good that the proceeds from buying that pattern is going to a good cause. Yes, I have the first Melt the Ice hat. When I picked up the yarn for this hat, I also got another skein of red yarn, more of a burgundy red for myself. And after having knit the Melt the Ice hat, I did like this pattern, but I wanted to try another hat pattern, and I'd been seeing a lot of just ribbed hats, kind of around, several people doing them in red, and so I made my own. So this is the Soda Pop Beanie pattern by Sari Nordland, and it is a 2x2 ribbed beanie. She's got instructions for doing like a single or like double fold or a triple fold. I did it to the length for the like double single fold. I did the shorter length. And yeah, I will say this was a pattern because you start up at the top and after like 8 or so rows, 8 to 10 rows, I think, you are at the width, max number of stitches, and then you just do 2x2 ribbing for the rest of the time. But like up here, it does not feel like it's going to be big enough, because, ribbing stretches and all of that. So I definitely it was a bit of a trust the process knit, because I got about here and was just like, is this actually going to fit my head, or is this going to be something that's going to go to my kiddo? But yeah, it fits me just fine. Let's see if I can get it on without messing my hair up too much. I think it's really cute and adorable. You can kind of scooch it around, adjust where you fold it over. So if you want like a bit more of a pointier look to it, you can do that. Roll the rim. At the end since you do start at the crown and work your way down, the very bottom, you switch to move things around to a 1x1 rib and then do a sewn tubular bind off. that gives it a really nice stretchy shape to it. And I've worn this a couple times now, very comfortable. I think this is a really good, just basic ribbed hat. I'm probably going to end up making some more of these. And yeah, the yarn's been holding up pretty good for wearing. Both of these, as I said before, are the Kelborn Woolen Scout. And yeah, I think it also looks really nice paired with my Book Club cardigan. So, oh, and hey, those are both Sorry Nordland patterns. So there you go, a Sorry Nordland outfit. So I made a hat for my husband and I made a hat for myself. I had to make a hat for my daughter. Also, she saw me making these hats and was like, well, I want one too. So I made her a mini, what I'm calling the mini no ice soda pop beanie. I kind of called my other soda pop beanie my no ice soda pop beanie. And yeah, this is again using that soda pop beanie pattern from Sorry Nordland, but to make it fit my daughter's head, which is 19 inches in circumference, I cast on 12 stitches and then followed the rest of the instructions for like increasing with that 12 stitch count in mind. It is a little odd because I used leftover yarn from my beanie and my husband's beanie. I basically have no more of the Kelborn Woolen Scout. I cast it on with the burgundy. I think I wish I had gone a little bit further with the burgundy. And then I switched to the red and pretty much went to where I thought she would fold the beanie, and that's pretty accurate. And then switched back to the burgundy. So that's like what it looks like on her head. Imagine my heads. Yeah. And yeah, she wore this the other day when we had a little bit of snow and thoroughly enjoyed it. She has actually asked me to knit a red hat for one of her cats. Her cat stuffies. We don't have a cat. We used to have a cat. She passed away a couple of years ago. But my daughter loves cat stuffies and cats. And yeah, she asked me to make a red hat for one of her cat stuffies. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I might have enough actually left over. I've got like 2 very small balls. I might have enough left over to make it because it's a very small headed stuffy. So yes, happy with how this turned out. And I feel like hats are a really good thing. Easy way to dip your toe into like altering patterns, adjusting the size, changing out like textures, stuff like that. It's a smaller scale like project, so as far as like time commitment, but also like yarn, that if the sizing, if I cast this on and finished it and had her try it on, and it was like, oh, no, this was completely wrong. I only took me a couple days to knit this. It's not like I wasted 2 months and found out it was the wrong size. So yeah, I think like, and I've altered hats before. I've changed the like texture of them, and also changed the sizing before to get kids sizes from adult patterns. Just do a little bit of math. That's all I did. So those are all the finished objects for this month. Like I feel like it was a lot. I did a lot of rage stress knitting. So, hey, took care of my mental health and I have hats to show for it. So, yay. All right, let's talk about my works in progress. All right, my first work in progress are these socks, or sock as it is currently. This is the Campbell sock pattern by Fabian Gassman. It is like 2x2 ribbed sock that features a little bit of cabling up at the top. Let me give you a close-up of that. So yeah, I think last month I was like here, so I have gotten through the heel turn. Can I show this? Ha 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 ha. I have a heel. I have a sock heel. And now I just have to knit the foot. and toe. I almost stabbed myself in the eye with those knitting needles. I haven't gotten a whole lot of progress on this because this is my like bring to the museum playground playgroup thing, and we just, because of like weather this past month and stuff like that, haven't been doing as much like just things where I'm out of the house, and so I usually work on this kind of project. But I'm going to try and make a little bit more progress on these socks because I would like to actually have a few more pairs of knit socks this year than I did last year. So I might actually even start like just bringing this with me to knitting meetups instead of other projects, or just be like, hey, I'll do a couple of rows of this in the evening before switching to my bigger project. Because I also have a whole lot of sock yarn that I would like to kind of make my way through a little bit. But yes, that is in my, oops, I brought yarn bag. Besides the hats, the main thing that I have been working on this month is this fun sweater. So this is the Dagmar Sweater Junior by Petite Knit. I am knitting it up in size 3/4, but I'm going to knit it to the size 5 length. I found my daughter is very slim. She's now definitely in 3T height-wise, but there are a few things that still almost fall off of her that are 3T, and like 2T skirt that still like I've had to like take in. She grew this month. She grew like 2 inches basically in a month. Her poor little legs were hurting. But it just all vertical. So yeah, I'm going to add on a little bit of extra length, because I'm guessing she's probably going to mostly wear this next year. So yes, and this is knit up in Knit Picks Hawthorne DK in Confetti Speckle. It's fun, like from a little ways away, you definitely get that confetti speckle, but then let me move it up close. And there you can actually start to see the cabling. And actually somebody in my knitting, and like when the light hits it, ooh, look, now you can see the cabling a lot better. Yeah, that's a little bit easier to see the cabling with the way the light's hitting it. Someone in my knitting group actually pointed out the speckled yarn helps hide stains, potentially. I'll have to see her wearing it and all of that. Yeah, I wanted to make my daughter a like classic cabled pullover. I thought it would be a really good like go with a lot of different things, and the rainbow just makes it a little bit more fun. So yeah, having a really fun time with this pattern. Again, it's actually got some very similar cables. Like this cable is very similar to this cable in the book club, except for it's got like an extra twist here, and it doesn't have the, is that moss stitch? Seed stitch in here. Because yeah, it's seed stitch and then moss stitch in the center. I have seen some people who've added a seed stitch in here, but yeah, really like this pattern. It's been pretty easy to follow. I've done a couple of Petite Knits kids patterns before, and they seem to be pretty easy to follow. Good different options for sizing. And you know, I have the option of someday I could make a Dagmar adult and kind of match. I don't think that I'm going to make a Dagmar for my classic cabled pullover. I have a whole video talking about the patterns I really like. But I do like the Dagmar half zip. That is something that might be an eventual down the line make for myself. Cause I could see that being really nice. Maybe in like a nice foresty green or like a plum. Ooh. But yeah, I'm started this on January 31st. I think I've got one more of this kind of diamond cable repeat, and then I will do the ribbing. Should give me the length that I'm looking for. and then I just have to do the sleeves and the collar. So yeah, I think I can get this finished in March. Probably just in time for the weather to be too warm for her to wear it, unless we get another big cold snap. Probably had I not done the hats, this would have been finished this month. But I wanted to get the hats done for the 26th because that's the Red Hat Resistance Day. I'll put some pictures up if I get any. I'm actually speaking about the history of the Red Hats at our local Kindred Circle, which is a pagan interfaith group that I'll put links to if you're in the Hampton Roads area and looking for curious or looking for a group of people to join. The circle just happens to fall on the 26th, so it lines up very well for me to talk about that and talk about like craftivism and all of that. Do you want me to finish filming so you can go outside and play? Oh, I said that word. Yeah. Oh, now you're gonna pace. Uh-oh. All right, so those are my finished objects and works in progress. Let's talk about plans for March. I am hoping to finish the Dagmar sweater, but I might cast on something before I finish that. So I already had the Anacortes tee in my Ravelry queue. I'm pretty sure it's the next thing on my queue. Yes, it is the next thing on my queue. And Michelle Frazetta from Missy Fraz Knits, who is the designer, just announced a Anacortes knit along. So it feels very like serendipitous of like this was already my thing that I was going to knit next. And now there's a knit along. I've been wanting to do a knit along. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And I have yarn for it already. I need to organize the yarn, because it's partially I need to frog something and the rest of it is, bit of a tangled mess. If you want more on that, go watch my, yarn dyeing experiment. But yes, this is yarn that I dyed myself. It is Knit Picks, Gloss, I think. It is a silk merino yarn, that I think would work really well for a tee. I had tried knitting it up in a couple different patterns and just felt like the patterns I was doing with it, I tried doing the staff-in, and I felt like the texture of the staff-in was getting lost, like the buttons and all the different like texture areas were kind of getting lost in the sheen of this yarn. But I think this would look really good in the broken rib that is the Anacortes pullover. So I'm very excited. I've got enough definitely to do the short sleeve version. I might even have enough to do the long sleeve, but I don't have any. I have one short sleeve top that I have knit, and I would like to have more. So this would be great. It is in like the same color family because the other top I have is purple. So definitely need to branch out in my knit colored tops. I like purples. I like roses. I like purples. This was technically a dusty rose color dye, but it did come out, I feel like, a little bit more purple, definitely darker than I expected. But I do like the color, and there is some slight variations in it just with the hand dyeing process. It was my first time ever dyeing yarn. And I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out. Like, other than the giant tangled mess that I'll give you a brief, that's an entire skein of yarn that's just, That brings me to the end of everything that I've been knitting in February. I don't really have much of a book update. I've still been reading 3 Bags Full. I'm enjoying it. It is just a little bit of a slower read than I anticipated. I was actually talking to somebody else in my knitting group, and they mentioned that the It was originally written in German, which suddenly was like, oh, this makes sense, because some of the like story structure feels a little like it sometimes I feel like is a little bit hard to follow. I also am struggling a little bit with like keeping all of the different sheep straight in my head. That's something I struggle with multiple too many characters, and they're all sheep, so there's only so much differences between them that it's yeah. But I'm enjoying it, looking forward to finishing it, because I do want to see the Sheep Detective movie that is clearly based on this book when it comes out. Yeah, I think after this I'm going to dive back into the Dungeon Crawler Carl books. I think I've read the first 3, and I've got the 4th book in my like to be read pile. And those, while they're chunky, they are fast. They are very popcorny, fun reads, and I don't know. As like somebody who plays D&D, who's played video games, there are a lot of elements in the book that feel very familiar to me, so that's fun. The other big plans that I have for March is I am going to a knitting retreat. I'm going to be going to Knitting by the Sea in North Carolina. I'm very excited. It's a retreat that's put on by the Tidewater Knitting Guild, which is the knitting guild local to me. I unfortunately haven't made it to any of the Knitting Guild meetups, like meetings and stuff like that, because they usually happen on a night that my husband has plans. I'm like, you know what? I've got Tuesday nights. You go have fun on your Mondays, and at some point I'll make it to one of the meetings. So yes, I'd love to know if you are working on any of the projects that I mentioned, or if you've made them. What were your thoughts? Have you made any red hats? Whether it's using the Knit the Ice hat pattern or other things. I hope you wore them on the 26th and keep wearing them as a sign that you oppose authoritarianism. That's the word, because I very rarely say it. I just see it and think it. I hope you are doing well, that you are finding comfort in your knitting. Knitting has been a big comfort for me. I've got a video planned that I tried filming actually a couple of times and just had technical issues, but I'm planning on putting out a video fairly soon about knitting and my mental health journey, because I know a lot of people find knitting very good for health in general, but specifically mental health. And that's something, I don't know, I feel like talking about. I think is important. Take care of your head and your body. And thank you for spending your time with me. It means a lot that so many people watch my videos. And yeah, it makes me happy, makes me feel less alone. I know, like, I get comfort in watching other people's knitting videos. And so thank you. If you want to keep up with my projects, you can check them out on Ravelry. If you want to see a little bit more of like day-to-day what's going on, follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!